All right, I'll call this meeting, I'm gonna turn my mic on so Kelly can hear me. Call this meeting of the Municipality of Anchorage Board of Ethics to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Wood Pearson,
Here.
Mr. Goodstein,
Here.
Mr. Kelly is excused, and Ms. Mogadam,
Here.
and Mr. Teagarden. I believe he will be a little bit late. You have a quorum, sure.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda or for any changes to the agenda as written?
Give me a. Yeah, I have one. With Mr. Kelly. So it gives me heartburn. On the
Oh, we're on the agenda.
Or
Approval
we're
of
approving the agenda. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Then I move to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I support that motion as well, so that agenda is approved. So we'll move on to minutes of our meeting of August 10th, 2023.
Yeah.
Taking a moment to review. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I vote to approve as well, so those are approved, our minutes are approved. Now we move on to our consent agenda.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there. I was curious on page 7 of the consent agenda. I can't read what the board is that we are consenting to.
It looks like plating board, but you're right, it's weirdly printed.
Also, the signature is real fancy.
Well, that's
Yeah,
electronic.
I have not seen that before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know.
I'll
That was the only thing
I'll
I-
send you something I signed that way next time.
Oh, great.
See you next time. Yeah.
We've just approved the minutes and the agenda, and now we're on to the consent agenda. It does seem like they're printing strangely, because Daryl's on page 9 also seems to have strange spaces in the midst of his note about the Equal Rights Commission.
That one can read. It's,
I do think the first is the plating board.
yeah. Cool. The other thing, I wasn't sure I understood, was the ASD disclosure statement on page 13. But, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just looking through. What part was your concern?
Okay, so they're brothers, that's the issue, but there's no like conflict of interest here, other than the fact that just, right, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the ASD requirement is that
Yeah.
any immediate family member who wishes to do business with the school district has to go through this process, so, but yes, and I don't see anything unless, well, I'm just looking to see what Mr. Harrington teaches, because generally speaking, if there's no connection between their work and the work of their family member, then it's fine, but if Mr. Harrington has some role in the hiring of the other Mr. Harrington.
This is what I really couldn't figure out.
No, but Mr. Whiting represents that he does not have any ability, any impact on the hiring.
Great. And I also really had a hard time figuring out page 16.
Approach. Yeah, that doesn't seem to actually. I don't know, did you see a problem there
I
potentially?
don't see a problem, but I don't also don't really understand what I'm looking at.
Well, then we should review. So generally the ASD form has the the ASD employee's information top, and then their immediate family member who's seeking to do business and an explanation of what they're seeking to do.
Yeah,
And their standard requires the disclosure of any immediate family member seeking to do business, even if they're completely attenuated, which this one actually appears to be. I don't see how a substitute teacher would have anything to do with a coach.
Yeah, okay, and I feel like you're right, yeah.
And then we get Mr. Whiting's letter as a cover, which explains what his analysis is for our
Yeah,
ratification.
and they seem to, yeah, it seems pretty good. Okay, that's all I have. Yeah,
Okay. Mr. Teagar, do you have any concerns about the consent agenda items?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you want a moment?
Just give me a moment here.
Okay.
So,
Sure. Just let us know when you're set. I think at this point I've reviewed every item in the consent agenda. Actually, I should ask, Taylor, do you have any concerns you'd like to raise regarding the consent agenda?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm not finding one for September.
It's in your non-confidential packet.
I don't know. I didn't say this one.
I think that's it right there.
I have the confidential. Sorry. That's good. Yeah.
you know, one thing I'm noticing is that we are approving twice some of these that we approved. Like we approved Gerald Hess our last meeting, and now we're approving him again for the same board position.
Is that correct? Did we?
If I remember what happened is that there was a box that wasn't checked.
Yeah, I thought that he had not specified which board he was,
Okay,
that
okay.
he was being appointed to, and so we just needed that documentation.
Yeah, same for Jessica Smith.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, they're kind of a substitute for the first.
I'm good.
Okay. Do I have a motion regarding the consent agenda?
Yeah, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, any discussion of the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Hit the button and leave your mic on, that way
Right.
Charlie can hear whenever you're talking.
Okay.
Do you want to vote on? Did you vote on the consent agenda? We were just voting.
I voted, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
yes, I'm
excellent.
sorry.
Okay, all right, good. That is approved. And we move on to unfinished business. Item 6A, request for review pursuant to AMC 405-065. And I know we have a guest here to talk with us about this. This was a confidential request, so I'll entertain a motion for us to move into executive session to receive testimony with respect to this request. Do I have such a motion?
So good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then we will move into executive session. So we have a motion to go into deliberative session.
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's go into deliberative session.
Wow.
You are back in open session. All right,
Dash 17.
so we have completed our discussion of AMC 405, of item 6A, request for review pursuant to AMC 405-065 in executive session and deliberative session. And I would say, just to put on the record, we have requested that Mr. Gavasti notify the respondent that we would like to speak with the respondent next month during our meeting, and also look into any additional public documentation of the status of the underlying claims that are the subject of the request for review. I don't believe we need a motion to that effect, I just wanted to place that on the record. So we're now, item 6B, ethics complaint for potential violation 2022-17. This is another confidential allegation, so I will entertain a motion to move into executive session to take testimony with respect to this matter. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's move into executive session. We are now in open session in the matter of ethics complaint for potential violation 2022-17. And I'd like to entertain a motion to move into deliberative session.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're moving into deliberative session, so let's close the door. All right, so on the record, maybe we need a motion. I would like a motion to request that Mr. Vosti respond to the legal questions raised by the board in executive session and incorporate them into a draft opinion addressing ethics complaint for potential violation 2022-17. Do I have?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Mr. Voski, for being willing to do that. I think at this point, we do not have time to address items 6C, D, E, or new business, so we'll need to move that to our next meeting, and we need to now schedule that next meeting and then adjourn so we can surrender the room. So I assume that the room is booked at 1 and we can't remain. 1:15.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, a couple minutes. And I think you're determined mine, it will expire,
I'm expired as of this meeting essentially.
are we expired in October?
So it's I think so.
October 14th, I think. Yeah, so we have time to meet before then, and then it will depend on whether, are you applying for reappointment?
I haven't decided yet. Have you decided?
I don't think I'm going to. Okay, so we need a meeting sometime in early October, potentially. Did we decide that Fridays were the window that worked for us?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
That you do.
I leave, I have a flight out of, to Fairbanks, I need to go check what time my flight is.
October Friday 13th. That's hilarious.
It's not putting my app. I fly to Fairbanks that afternoon. I'm just trying to figure out what time. I think my flight's at 2:30. So I could do something before I'm required to get on the plane.
I can meet
So
that morning. I'm over that morning.
and meet the morning of the 13th. Looks like, oh, actually I have a lunch at 11:30 to 12:30. I could potentially do from like 9 to 11 that morning. I'd have to move a series of things, but I could do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
You have 13th?
The 13th, 9 to 11 in the morning.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Kelly?
Yes, that does.
Okay, let's schedule accordingly.
Got
All
it.
right, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, stand adjourned. Thank